Hey everyone, so let me ask you a question. Who would you think that feminists will have as their role model? Could it be someone who had to escape Czechoslovakia to then become the first female Secretary of State? Well, you would be right if you said yes, and Madeleine Albright was invited to speak at Scripps University, an all-female university. But wait, what? Students and some faculty are protesting because she's a white feminist. Genocide enabling war criminal. Yep, that would be right too. Students at a liberal arts women's college are at odds with the first female Secretary of State. Just think of that. Another example of the left eating itself in front of every rational and sane human being. What's worse is the logic they use. Once one student questioned how many people of color were invited to speak. Now let's analyze that. An all-women's college has students who are more concerned with the women's race than the women itself. This is the reason why I'm starting to love Sargon of Akkad's progressive sect. You may be the first female Secretary of State, however, race comes first, so
Die, cis, scum.
However, they had a secondary case against her, which is a perfect example of Retard 101. A student wrote an article on the Student Life title, Madeleine Albright has blood on her hands. Okay, let's see her reasoning. In the first paragraph, we see the mentioning of white feminist and genocide enabler. Progressive/retard logic 101. Moving on, she made the points about her pulling troops out of Rwanda, intervening in the Balkans, and calling the sanctions over Iraq worth it. Now she's using these events to call her a genocide enabler. Firstly, the sanctions on Iraq brought forth a lot of travesty. No one's going to deny that. However, there's a lot of myths surrounding it. Let's get this straight. Since the sanctions were there for political reasons, and not to kill Iraqi children. There's no concrete evidence proving that 500,000 children died because of the sanctions. But more importantly, these are decisions made by a bunch of people. You have the president, you have the Secretary of State, you have the Secretary of Defense, and by no means you can solely blame Madeleine for those sanctions and the resulting effects. Moreover, also, I never hear the PC mob ever mention the children who Saddam Hussein himself deliberately killed, since they're so focused on the unfortunate deaths caused by the sanctions. But where this article really goes full on retard is Madeleine is so evil by pulling troops out of Rwanda. Firstly, what happened in Rwanda was a tragedy for the whole world. That was one of the worst genocides ever that mankind has witnessed. However, she was not in any way responsible for it, because she didn't cause it, she wasn't there to see it, and she was just a Secretary of State of another nation. Granted, but the most laughable part of the article is when she says, Madeleine's evil for intervening in the Balkans. I'm confused. Hey, progressive retard. Which one is it?
You done fucked up now!
The leftist logic is real. You do know that the intervention in the Balkans prevented a genocide, right? But she had said before that leaving Rwanda had made her a genocide enabler. So why are you saying that intervening in the Balkans made her a genocide enabler as well? In what world does that make sense? And again, this goes to show that PC mob is self-destructing. It's eating itself. The presence of the first Secretary of State doesn't matter, since she's a white feminist and will express her logic about how intervening and not intervening makes you a genocide enabler.